Thank you, Bill. Good morning. I walked in a few minutes ago and Bill's talking about fertility. So I want everybody to know I can't fix that.
But you're trying.
I'm excited to be here. There's so much I want to talk about. I'll try to hit some high points and then open it to questions. I'm dressed like I am because I have to leave out here shortly and go to a funeral and speak. So,
Look, before you talk, I want to.
I didn't get dressed up for y'all, quite frankly.
I'll say something. If y'all haven't followed this, John's had a pretty good couple of weeks here. He got a very favorable interview in the New York Times. If you haven't seen it, you ought to go read it, talking about how there's a Democratic mayor that's governing different than a lot of the other mayors are. You didn't get recalled. I know you were worried about that.
I almost signed it.
The last I heard, I think they'd gotten 5% of the signatures they needed or something. The city council candidate who said that he was running to stand up to you came in kind of a distant third with about, I think, 16% of the vote or something. And then, for the last couple of years, you've been under a lot of pressure from some of your council members and from our local newspaper to raise property taxes. And you've refused to do that, or you haven't said you wouldn't support it. Council went along with you. But up in Austin, your former Senate colleague tried to raise taxes dramatically over the state cap. And even in the very progressive city of Austin, that was voted down by 2-1. And then shortly after that, I heard that they were going to do an efficiency study. I wonder where they got that idea from. So I guess, if I were you, I'd be feeling pretty vindicated these days. Is that a fair description?
Thank you, Bill. I am very confident and very pleased that we have a team. People ask me, what are you most proud of? And I could go to public safety or the broken water mains, water bills, et cetera, et cetera. But friends, it's really the team that we've got in place. If you start looking at the directors, they're passionate, they're professional, they're honest. And I'm really pleased with our fire police. Solid waste director is, when we got there were 1,900 broken water mains. We're down to 400. The bottom line is also, I want you to leave here today, no, we're not through. We're making progress. We have a great city, great people. But like all major cities, we have significant challenges. The difference is we're meeting our challenges. And we're doing that through collaboration with all levels of government, bringing the right people to City Hall, and just the can-do attitude. Experience truly matters, and we're demonstrating that. So I am pumped about the direction we're going, but we have a lot of work left to do. It's amazing, some of the critics, it's just, I've been at this long enough, as many of you know, 50 years in the legislature. That's just part of the job. You can't let it distract you. It frustrates you. If I was still a legislator, chairing a committee, and I had to put up with what is some I have to do at the city, I know how to handle that too. But I'm a consensus builder at the city. We're working across the line. People, my critics who can't get over the last election, that's the bottom line. Well, they better, because it's over and we're going forward. And they also want to do the old model. The old model. How are you going to fund city government? Which city government are you talking about? The one that I inherited, or the reorganization that we're presenting through the Ernst & Young report? Smartest thing I did is do an Ernst & Young report that showed that city of Houston has more city employees than any other major city per capita. We were at 23,000. We had an incentive program for people that are eligible. We allowed 1,056 people retire. And quite frankly, I don't think we're through. We still have some efficiencies. We found out that 40% of the city of Houston supervisors, 40% were supervising 3 or fewer people. The model was, you can't give them a raise, so you just make them a supervisor. And it was the friends of the administration. So I can go on and on with the things that I've discovered. It's a process, and we're addressing our challenges. We've been discovered I was listening to Bill's numbers. Not only discovered by out-of-state, international residents, but how about 700,000 people travel to Houston each day to work? See, we just haven't been transparent enough at City Hall to really let you know what the challenges are. Monday we'll wake up with 2.3 million Houstonians. Very diverse, as we know, but 2.3 million. Do you know how many will travel to Houston to work and attend events Monday? 700,000. That's the size of Atlanta. And we have to provide for them. We have to give them public safety, first responders. We have to improve our infrastructure. FIFA says we're the #1 city preparing for this World Cup. They actually call us the grown-up city. That's a heck of a compliment, Bill. They deal with all the major cities, but they're calling us the grown-up city because tough call I had to make. I had to replace the sports authority last winter. Friends were serving on it, the administrators were friends, but they weren't getting the job done. So the good thing is, I've been at this long enough to know you just call it the way you see it. Surround yourself with smart, honest people, and it works. And I see Joby Allen, who's leading a Clean Up Houston. We all know Houston has to clean itself up. Our infrastructure, our posts, I still drive myself some. The security will take me home, don't tell them, but they take me home in the evening and I tell them, I'm gonna stay here, and then I go to dinner with friends. I see what Houstonians see. I deal with solid waste as a resident. Solid waste is playing catch up. I got a new director 4 months ago, and we're finding out the conflicts of interest and the broken model that we inherited in solid waste. The previous administration gave a Spanish, Friends of the Administration Spaniard company, international company, not local or not even U.S., a 15-year contract to handle recycling. The problem is they have one location in the entire 600 square miles to drop off the recycling, Northeast Houston. So if you get picked up at recycling in Southwest, they got to go over there and come back. Broken model. Wednesday was an official day off in solid waste, so everyone could get overtime. But we're fixing that. And I'm just being so transparent with you that we not only inherited a mess, there's messes. But the good news is, back to that team I put in place. I don't know where Chief Diaz, the police chief, is this morning, but he's fighting crime wherever he is. You know, no suspended cases. Can you imagine what I inherited? It was not 26 or 260 or 26, 260,000 suspended HPD cases were discovered 2 months into my administration. We went to work, had to take officers off the street to process them. Individuals got prosecuted, but no more suspended cases. I'm lost how that was ever allowed.
A lot of sexual assaults were in there.
Sexual assaults, domestic abuse, one-on-one assaults. So I could give you statistics this morning. Our response time is down on Code 1, the most serious, is down to 5.6 minutes. Dallas is still stuck at 12. But you know what? I'm not going to give you numbers because it don't matter. It's still, we have security concerns. And I'm going to say primarily because when HPD, who does an outstanding job, takes them to the courthouse, they're still being released. Murderers. I chaired criminal justice for the last 30 years before I ran for mayor. It is unheard of to give someone on murder or capital murder a bond. Normally, if someone's on bond and they violate the condition of that bond, you revoke them. That just doesn't happen in Harris County. So I will be speaking out more and more, and it's beginning to get some traction. Certain judges just don't want to hold people accountable. So we'll never have enough police officers if we don't fix the criminal justice system at the courthouse. Some judges are doing a good job, but some are really negligent in keeping and holding people accountable. Now, the constitutional amendment that was passed now allows folks to deny bond. Judges, after review, can deny a violent offender bond. And I'll repeat what I became known for in Austin and actually across the country. You lock up people that you're afraid of, not those that you're mad at.
Right.
So those that we're mad at, drug, alcohol, addicts, mental health cases, we want to help those folks, get them into treatment. But somebody that puts a gun in your face, like I've experienced, lock them up and hold them accountable. So that's still a piece of our concerns.
John, I know we've
City
got,
services, we're definitely heading in the right direction. I want to thank Councilman Ramirez I see here. I've got great cooperation. I've got some that are less cooperative, but we just keep working.
and I know that we've got a number of people here that are really interested in the homeless issue. Can you tell what you're doing with that homeless hub and
Sure.
what your plans are there?
Well, first of all, homeless is a very complex issue. It's a national issue. I don't know why the previous administration and others have not addressed the conditions in our country with people living on the street. It's not safe for them. It's not safe for you and me. It was one of the motivating factors for me to run. Drives me nuts. I've actually been known to go out to dinner with a friend, and we order an extra meal to go down under Pierce elevator and give it to someone. Of course, she was a doctor, and then she wanted to get out and start giving them health care. I said, no, Teresa, stay in the car. Stay in the car. But it's a passion. We ought to all be focused on it. But it's a quality of life issue for Houstonians. I get it. So what do? We first did a civility ordinance, which allows us to move the homeless. We've got about 12 communities would petition to do it across the city, but it really just primarily said you can't sleep on the sidewalks during the day, you got to move on. If you go down to our public library, I walked the block yesterday, it's so much better, but it hadn't been long ago, all you smelled was urine. Certainly if you go inside the Central Library, the men's restroom was used as kind of not a shower, but it was certainly where the homeless were hanging out. So it's impacting us. Other cities are much, much worse, but I've got a great team. Remember I mentioned the team a moment ago. Chief Satterwhite, who was my interim police chief, became our Homeland Security Director with his vast experience. He's a man of faith. He's passionate. He's leading our effort to get the homeless off the street. Mike Nichols led the Homeless Coalition. He's heading up the housing department, and also we're focusing through the housing department to get the homeless off the street. So what do? Satterwhite gave a talk the other day, and he said, we get them off the street at the speed that we come up with a place to locate them. So Twila Carter, Councilman Carter, friend of many of y'all, I can't say enough. She took off and challenged all of us to find locations. She worked with the Astro Foundation. She's familiar with the mess under 59. So she's located at opportunities. The Emancipation site that's gotten so much play was an immigration site. Unaccompanied children, a nonprofit ran it until about a year ago. It was built as a residence for people. About 300 beds, walk-in condition. They lost their lease or their contract with the feds. Twila found it. We went over there. I'm telling you, everyone in here would say, ideal location, ideal conditions. We got in a little bit of a bidding war with some investors that wanted to buy it to get another federal contract. And we didn't play that game. So they wanted 20, we got them down to 16, tough negotiations. We had the announcement. Then what happens? Resistance. Those investors that wanted it, they wanted to make money instead of take care of our homeless, hired Wayne Del Giuffino. Do I need to say anything else? Wayne started inflaming the neighborhood. He's one of the best at this. So anyway, to make a long story short, we stayed focused. We're there. We think we'll be in there the 1st of January. It'll handle about 300 people. They won't be there permanently. To help the homeless, you got to get them in a confined setting so you can help them reconnect with their family, get them some mental health, drug and alcohol treatment. You'd be surprised how many of them just need some help with an ID. They come out, let me blast the criminal justice system, which I've worked with for many years. You can't let people out of Huntsville without an ID or money. They have nowhere to go. They come on our street. Harris County is still letting people out at midnight. They're so overcrowded that at 12:01, inmates get credit for the next day and they're eligible to leave. They roll up that garage door on San Jacinto and about 300 people get released. Some have families, most don't. Some have no money. They get on metro lines, they get arrested for trespassing against the cycle. We're going to break that. We want to help people that need help, and we want to get the homeless out of our neighborhoods in central Houston for certain. The legislature passed legislation that now we can require somebody to relocate. You know, our